All right, time for some very interesting emails.
Let's do it.
Sharisa writes, I had a friend who died a few years ago. I believe I've seen him appear a few times since then. No, I'm not crazy. Even my dog barks when he sees him. Is it possible that my friend is trapped between heaven and hell?
And she said, is this with purgatory? I don't believe in purgatory. I'm sorry. I know that some teachers say there's no... You know, the Apostle Paul said, I'm in a strait betwixt two, whether to remain in the flesh, which is needful to you, or to depart and be with the Lord. There is no in-between, to depart and be with the Lord, or to remain in the flesh. Now, your friend died. There are such things as familiar spirits. They're like the spirits that mimic the loved ones. I've mentioned before in this program earlier about demonic spirits. There are demons. They are real. There is no question about it. But this is not your old boyfriend. I'm sorry. It's not. It's demonic. And your dog can sense demons. I have a dog that, you know, senses a whole lot of things. You bark it all the time, but they will sense these things. But anyhow, no, this is not purgatory, and there's no trap between heaven and hell.
And no mention of purgatory in the Bible at all.
Not at all. It's strictly an accretion of our friends in the Catholic Church, and it has no biblical basis.
All righty. Smith writes, I'm looking to adopt a child. I feel it very strongly in my heart. My husband, on the other hand, doesn't feel this way. Why would God put that desire in one spouse's heart but not the other?
Well, how do you know God put the desire in there? You're a woman. You have a maternal instinct. That's part of your nature. You want to love. You want to cherish a child. That's part of being a mother, and you want to be a mother. And your husband is a man, and he doesn't have that maternal instinct. So it isn't God putting it in there. It was in there from the beginning. You were made that way. And unless you agree, please don't adopt somebody, because the child will be miserable. But maybe your husband will come around to, you know, but some men, you know, just want children real badly. I mean, they want to be a dad. They want to have a little kid they can throw baseball with and football and take them to the circus and all that sort of thing. But your husband doesn't. So until he does, just, you know, keep praying. Keep praying, but don't blame God for it. All right.
A viewer writes, my church celebrates the arts. Good for them, I say. We have a bookstore, and this year they've allowed church members to display their arts and crafts for sale. I think I have a problem with that, though. John 2:16 says, make not my Father's house a house of merchandise. So should we not be selling these items in the church bookstore?
What else do you sell at the bookstore? You don't give the books away, do you? I mean, you know, churches have bookstores, and they sell books. It's okay. You know, there used to be a ministry called a Cole Porter. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, all right. They were people who sold little portions of Scripture. They had little tracts, and they sold them. They didn't get a lot of money from them, but they sold them. So churches have bookstores, and the bookstores sell books. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this isn't the temple of God where they were cheating people and having money changers and having animals and cages and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be different if they were selling merchandise next to the preacher while he's preaching, and people were coming up and buying and exchanging money, right? I mean, that's I think what the Bible talks about.
Well, it was, but the whole thing was like a bazaar out there with all this stuff going on. And they were also cheating. They were changing money and cheating people as they were changing the money.
Wow.
All right.
Gloria writes, a friend of mine said that God allowed evil to prevail in certain circumstances. Is this true? It seems awfully unloving. Or does Satan override God's intentions with his evil works? That seems worse.
Just keep in mind, it's God's devil. God created Satan. Satan is God's creature, and one day he's going to, you know, get locked up forever. The truth is, though, that right now God is dealing with a rebellion that took place in heaven. This beautiful angel, the highest of all his creations, rebelled against him, and he took a third of the angels with him. Now, God could reach out and say, that's it. What would happen to the rest of creation? They would be scared to death, because they'll say, what if God does that to me? So God knows that love has to prevail. That's why he sent his son to die on the cross. But he is winning us, wooing us with love. Does he let Satan tempt us? Yes. He allows free will now because he wants to woo us with love.
Good answer. Pete writes, God is a God of love, but in Malachi it says that God hated Esau, turned his mountains into a wasteland, and left his inheritance to the desert jackals. That's awfully mean, considering the guy's biggest transgression was that he really wanted a pot of stew. So how does the God of love hate Esau? That's a good question.
Well, it says you better be careful the kind of soup you eat, or God will be at you.
It was red lentil stew. I love red lentil soup.
All right. What was the deal with Esau? First of all, he gave up his birthright and he gave up his blessing. He gave up the opportunity to be the high priest of the family and to inherit all the good things that were due to him. And he put his belly ahead of that. That was for starters. So he was typical of the materialistic person who puts his own material interests ahead of spiritual. So that was number one. But Edom has become a symbol of a nation in rebellion against God. And I have read stories, and I haven't researched it, so don't hold me too much, but there is some thought of going back to Edom, and you find the roots of Islam. And there's a group, you know, the Amalekites and so forth, who rebelled against God. They were close relatives, but they rebelled against God. They tried to destroy Israel. And God turned against them because he told Saul, for example, I want you to kill all the Amalekites. I'm going to destroy them all because they're dangerous. They're dangerous. So that's what he's talking about. So, but I was reading one commentary, it said, we can't diminish the effect of those words, love and hate. You can't tone them down. Yeah. I mean, he really loved Jacob because Jacob put spiritual things first. And he really hated what Esau became, who rejected the spiritual things in favor of materialism. I mean, it's much more profound than a bowl of lentil soup. I like lentil soup.
It's my favorite.
Okay, but you won't get cursed for eating.
Okay, good.